Hey guys, good afternoon and welcome to today's YouTube live. First, let me see. Okay, great. Okay, so once again, you're all specially welcome to today's live. My name is Glory Elijah, and this is Frankly Speaking with Glory Elijah. You're all specially welcome. Today's conversation is one which is very personal. Yeah. Not just to me, but I believe to all Nigerians who are currently experiencing the state of the economy in the country. So before we proceed, I'm going to go ahead and play two videos merged into one. Full disclaimer first, those videos do not belong to me. The first video is an excerpt from an interview on Arise TV, and the second one is from another TV station. I think that is News Central. Yes. So those videos do not belong to me. They belong to those media houses. All right. And I might be taking them off after this live stream. So I'm just using them for the purpose of today's conversation. So I'm going to go ahead now and play those videos, and then we will proceed with today's conversation. All right. So once again, you're all specially welcome. All right, let's get into it.
Monies are trickling down to people with regard to those loans.
We have been pigeonholed into certain assumptions, certain conclusions. People just say it's like in the early days of this government. I think the president went to Lagos. I think it was coming from the Central Mosque, and somebody now did a voiceover. And that means we are hungry. Since then, people have been saying that, hey, we are hungry.
Yeah, but
I'm a Nigerian. I have people working for me privately. I don't see the level of hunger people are talking about, because I see them and I keep asking them questions. How are things? How are they adjusting? What are the problems?
We're trying to give hope, and to start akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start roasting corn, or somebody even said about grant, you see they're saying that kuli doesn't take much. We didn't give them a loan, we gave it to them as a grant. So we've encouraged Nigerians as best as we could. What is within our hands, I have given, and I keep giving. And those are the things we've done. I remember giving for TB. When I heard there's so much TB cases, I gave 2 billion. To breast cancer, I gave 1 billion. To food malnutrition, I gave 500 million. So those are the things we've been doing, and making sure we can make sure that whatever this government is trying to do, that it will see the light of the day.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just sad. So you see, those two videos, they really set the internet on fire this week in Nigeria. I mean, oh my God, hectic. So you see, the first video, emphasis on the first video, that man who said that he doesn't see the hunger that Nigerians are complaining about, that man is actually one of the speakers for the president of Nigeria. Yeah. He was a journalist before being appointed as one of the speakers of the president of Nigeria, So he was a journalist. He was one of those journalists with integrity, one of those journalists who would do their investigations, they would do their research, and they will really speak truth to power about the government of the day. But ever since this man became one of the speakers of the president, even during the president's campaign before the election, this man, I can boldly tell you that truth has been far from him for the longest time. Yeah, very far from him. I remember that from time to time, when we have this live, where we have conversations about the situation in Nigeria, I always tell you all that do not be shocked if you find out that the people around the president of Nigeria, they are not telling the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't just You know, I wasn't just saying things off my head. No. This interview with this man, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, is just a very, very clear indication that what I have been saying, what a lot of people have been saying, is nothing but the gospel truth. These are people that thrive within the corridors of power of the presidency. These are people who are feeding fat on the nation's resources. These are people who are, in my personal opinion, sycophants to the president, who will tell the president what will make him feel good about himself. These are people who will, you know, comfortably lie to the president and even those around them, you know, just because, of course, they possibly want to protect their own personal interests. Because how is it that this man is claiming not to see the hunger that Nigerians are crying about? I can sit here and give you a number of examples of people, of situations where hunger has really has really destroyed a lot of people's lives in the past 3 years in Nigeria. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, as you have seen on the title of today's live and also by those videos, just know that the focus of today's conversation is about the complete detachment of the presidency, of the day's government, with the actual reality of Nigerians. All right. So that's the focus of today's conversation. So yeah, going back to that video now, Mr. Bayo Onanuga said he does not see the hunger that people are shouting about. Well, you can say that that is fair enough for him, because nobody would tell me that Mr. Bayo Onanuga by himself picks up a bag and goes to the market to buy his normal groceries that he would use for his day-to-day, you know, feeding. I do not think he does that. I think he has people who does that for him. Yeah. Obviously, he has a wife. Obviously, he has kids. Obviously, he has staff members of his household who run those errands for him. So whatever amount they budget, whatever amount they tell him, oh, sir, this is the amount of money we need today. Of course, that money is readily available. Why? This man works in close proximity with the president of Nigeria. And I have heard that the president is very, very generous to the people around him. Yes. And from the look of things, it's like the people around the president, once they tell him that everything is fine, everything is well, so long as they are feeding fat, the president too believes that the whole of Nigeria is well catered too. But there's another angle to it, that they are fully aware of the actual situation, the harsh reality of Nigerians, but they come out in these their interviews to gaslight us and to make it look like they have been doing a lot to, you know, eradicate the mass suffering that the masses are actually facing. So I watched that interview, and when Mr. Bayo Onanuga said that he actually has people who work for him, and he normally questions them about the situation of things in the country, and they say that all is fine. Well, what does he expect them to say? What exactly does he expect them to say? Does he think that they're going to tell him the truth, that things are not really fine? Obviously, the people that work for him, there's a possibility, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's a fact, but there's a possibility that he probably gives them some perks, probably pays them well. And there's something called that cultural sycophancy in Nigeria. People who work with rich people who work with big men and big women, they never ever tell those big rich people that they work for the truth. Why? Because they are trying to find favor in the eyes of those people. They are trying to make those rich people that they work for, they're trying to make them feel good. They're trying to also show loyalty, like prove that they can be loyal. So if every other Nigerian is complaining that there is hunger in the land, does Mr. Bayo Onanuga expect that his housemaid, his driver, his security man, does he expect that they're going to tell him the truth, that Oga, true, there's hunger in the land? They will not. They will not tell him the truth. They will not tell him the truth because they know fully well that You see, the likes of Mr. BAYO ONANUGA and every single person that is a member of the APC, that is the ruling party of the current government of the day, those people are bloody liars. They are manipulative. They are very, very deceptive. They do not speak truth to power. They do not even like hearing the truth. They see white and they call it black. And the reason they do that is for so many reasons I mentioned earlier. All of them, every single one of them, they have their own personal selfish interests. So they know that when they begin to speak about the actual reality of Nigeria and Nigerians, it's going to make them lose whatever favors they have been gaining from the higher powers in their political party. So they would rather lie to themselves, even though they know the truth. They'd rather lie to themselves. They'd rather lie to the media. They'd rather lie to the regular Nigerians that, oh, they are working, that everything is fine. There is no hunger anywhere. There's no suffering anywhere. They would rather lie. So Mr. BAYO ONANUGA coming on air to say that he has people who works for him, and when he asks them if there is hunger and they say, no, there's no hunger, what is he actually expecting him to say? That they should actually tell him that, hunger deal. They will never tell him the truth. And him thinking that they're going to tell him the truth, he's just being delusional. He's lying to himself and he's being delusional. And ladies and gentlemen, another angle to this is to just show you the wide gap between the rich and the poor in Nigeria. Not just between the rich and the poor even, but between the higher powers and the regular Nigerian. For the higher powers, so long as they share Nigeria's resources amongst themselves, so long as they are benefiting from government policies, so long as every week or every day or every month they receive their own share of the national cake, and their children, their families, their cohorts, their cronies, so long as they are all well fed, so long as they are feeding fat on the nation's resources, so long as every single evil happening in Nigeria is not happening to them, they will continue to go to the media and spread lies, propaganda, claiming that all is well. Do they care? They do not really care about Nigerians. In that same interview, this same Mr. BAYO ONANUGA was claiming that Nigeria is actually safe, that there's not much insecurity in the country. Even saying that, Nigerians have been told not to travel at night. Hello, excuse you. Back in the day, when I was still very young, even as close as 2011, 2012, when I used to go to school, like when I used to take my trips from Lagos all the way to my hometown, to university, we used to travel overnight. Because it would take roughly 13 to 14 to 15 hours to travel from Lagos, Nigeria to Akwa Ibom State. So we used to travel overnight because the buses, they would travel for like maybe 2-3 hours or 4 hours, and then they would stop at Benin or Ore, and then we'll have like a meal break or hydration break. And then afterwards, we'll continue the trip again, and then we'll rest again in another state, and then we'll travel again, and then we'll rest again in another state. We keep on resting at least for every 2 to 3 hours of the trip. And then sometimes the driver will have to stop the bus, maybe even at night at a fuel station to refuel the vehicle. We used to travel overnight, and I would get to my school, my university, at sometimes 2-3 a.m. in the morning. At least Nigeria was considerably safe that time. But Mr. BAYO ONANUGA coming to say that, they've said that Nigeria should not travel at night. Like it's a normal thing. Is he not ashamed of himself? Did he not feel shame when he was opening his mouth to say those things on air? So we should now normalize Nigeria not being safe enough for people to travel whenever they want to travel. Is that what the presidency is saying? Because as far as I'm concerned, whatever the speaker of the president says, he is actually representing the mind of the president himself. So is that what the presidency is saying? That Nigerians should stop traveling at night? I mean, I know that it's the reasonable thing to do, right? Everywhere there's insecurity, terrorists and bandits, kidnappers, they are terrorizing everywhere across the nation. So it's a sensible thing to do, to curtail your movement, to monitor. But guess what? These insurgents, they do not announce when they want to strike. In the mornings, they go to churches where people are actually worshiping and they strike. In the afternoon, they go to farmlands, they attack farmers, they massacre all of them. Sometimes they kidnap people as well. In the evenings, when people feel like, oh, okay, maybe there's going to be peace now, let me put my head down on my bed and sleep, they still strike. So at what time of the day is safest for a Nigerian to move around or just to even simply exist in Nigeria? Because listening to the spokesman of the president spewing that rubbish, that garbage from his mouth on air, it was such a shameful thing to listen to. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you all today, is there hunger in your community? Have you experienced hunger in the last 3 to 4 years or not? Oh, we're coming to that. Medina is asking if I started frying akara. My sister, I want to look for a spot in my community where I'm going to start frying akara, because it's unbelievable that the first lady, that's the president's wife, is actually confidently speaking about empowering women with some grants, as she called it, to sell akara, to sell kuli, to sell corn. In case you do not know what kuli is, ladies and gentlemen, just simply go onto Google or go onto any social media app and just type kuli. It will show you what kuli looks like. Growing up, kuli was sold for 50 kobo or 1 naira per piece. And in today's current day, I can boldly tell you that if kuli is going to be sold, it cannot be more than 100 naira. Not per piece, maybe for 5 pieces. That is how cheap kuli is. So let's do, let's create an hypothetical situation. I am selling kuli, right? And I have 1,000 pieces, which is almost impossible, to be very honest. Let's say I have at least 100 pieces of kuli. The question is, how many people is going to purchase that kuli that day? How many people? Because it's not everybody that actually eats kuli. Not everybody likes how kuli is made. Yeah, you don't want to even know how kuli is made. Back in the day, we know how kuli was made. Now, I'm not even entirely sure how kuli is made. So it's not everybody that actually likes kuli. Yeah? So how many people are going to purchase that kuli? How much are you going to sell it for? Now, say you end up selling the 100 pieces of kuli that you're selling. Yeah? How much are you going to make out of it? Now, the money you make out of it, is it going to be enough to feed you and your entire family for that day? Not to talk about 1 week. Is it going to be enough to tend to your basic human needs like water, maybe kerosene? Because obviously whoever is going to be selling kuli, we know that they are possibly not using gas to cook in their house. They are possibly using firewood and charcoal or stove. Oh, and then we talk about the advice of people to sell akara. Question is, does the first lady actually know that akara is not actually a very, very cheap venture to embark on? It's not. Because you're talking about buying beans, and beans today is not cheap in the market. You're talking about pepper that you will use to blend with the beans. Pepper is not cheap. I cooked stew sometime last week, and the amount of tomatoes and pepper that I bought, I almost cried because it was so small. It was this small. And then we're talking about onions. Onions is like gold now, very expensive. Garlic, ginger that you use to mix up the blend of the beans, very expensive. We're talking about firewood, expensive. Charcoal, expensive. Kerosene to start the fire, expensive. We're talking about the cooking tools that you would need to even set up the business, expensive. But the most important question to even ask for me personally is this. Madam First Lady, in this big 2026, when we're talking about empowerment programs for women in Nigeria, is this the best a very enlightened woman like you can think of? Is this the best? Madam First Lady. Madam First Lady that has enjoyed power for so many years. Currently still a senator, I think. You've enjoyed power for so many years by virtue of being married to the president of Nigeria and, being a senator for so many years. Is this the best empowerment type of program? And like when you talk about empowering Nigerian women, young and old, Madam First Lady, as educated as you are, as well-traveled as you are, as well-read as you are, as well as exposed as you are, is this the best that you can think of for a Nigerian woman? Obviously, the answer is no. I'm very sure that the First Lady knows better. I'm very, very sure. I'm very sure that she knows better. But here is the catch. Here is the catch, ladies and gentlemen. We've said this several times over, but I'm going to say it again. There's something about politicians in Nigeria. Yeah? You see, politicians in Nigeria, 99.9% of politicians in Nigeria know that they have absolutely nothing to offer to Nigerians in terms of innovations. They know that their mind is not big enough to innovate the country, to elevate the lives of Nigerians. They know. On the other hand, they also know that if they even try to elevate the lives of Nigerians beyond what it has been for the past decade, they know that their personal interests will be affected. They know that they will lose out. They know that that master-servant relationship will die. They know that Nigerians will no longer worship the ground that they walk on. They know that the level of sycophancy in the society will completely go down the drain. They know. They know that poverty will be eradicated. They know that illiteracy will be eradicated. So what do? They consciously and deliberately create that divide between the haves and the have-nots. And they ensure deliberately, systematically, they ensure that those who are the have-nots, the only thing that they can aspire to are menial jobs like what the First Lady is actually bragging about on that video. Take it from me, I'm telling you this for a fact. They ensure that the poorest of the poorest, or even the middle class that we no longer have today, the middle class has automatically joined the lower class. They ensure that, you see, this other side of the divide, the have-nots, yeah? They ensure that the only thing that they can aspire to is what they allow. And that is why you notice that every government parastatal, every oil-producing company in Nigeria, every conglomerate in Nigeria, every multinational company, talk about the big companies that actually pay well, you will notice that 90% of the people that are staffed up in those companies are the children and the families and the friends and cronies of politicians and those in government. It's very rare in Nigeria to see the child of a nobody rise up to such greater heights in Nigeria. They deliberately and systematically ensure that the only thing that the child of a nobody can aspire to is, oh, be a farmer. I'm not saying that farming is not good. Please don't get me wrong. But we know that when we talk about agriculture, there are levels to it. There are those who own the farm. There are those who own sophisticated mechanizations to ensure that farming is easy and smooth, right? But then there are those ones who they cannot go beyond a certain level. So it has to be at the level of the ancient days practice. That is where they can go. That is as much as they can aspire to. And that is why the wife of the president will comfortably come on air and boldly, proudly, as if she has saved the world, she'll proudly come and tell people that she's helping women by giving them grants. It is not expensive to start a akara business or kuli or corn. How disgusting, Madam President. I mean, Madam First Lady, whatever. And it also makes me think about another question. And I hope that somebody out of anger sends this video to Madam President. Let us see, because I have a question for her. Madam Oluremi Tinubu, how many of your children is an akara seller? Is Shei Tinubu selling kuli today? Is your daughter the one that is roaming around Nigeria wanting to be head of Market Women Association, Iyaloja? Does she sell corn? All of your children in the Tinubu family, is any of them selling corn? Is any of them selling akara on the roadside? Is any of them selling kuli? And you see, some people are trying to make a case, an argument for the First Lady, talking about, a lot of women, they sold akara and used it to send their children to school. A lot of people, they sold corn, they used it to build houses, they used it to buy cars. You're lying to yourself. Those people who sold akara, I mean, I'm talking about back in the day, growing up, people who sold akara, sold corn, sold kuli. Do you know how many years it took for them to toil mindlessly, desperately? Do you know how many years it took for them to toil before they were able to even afford the little luxury of even buying a car? Oh, the ones that you said they were able to send their children to universities. The question is, do you think it was actually easy for their children to even cope in university? Do you think it was easy? You see, yeah, for those of you who support and defend this government, and especially the ruling party, yeah, I just hope that something happens, that Nigeria happens to all of you. I just hope Nigeria happens to all of you. And the same prayer goes to the presidency too. Everybody that is a politician that is defending the madness happening in Nigeria today, I just hope that that lie that they are actually propagating, that Nigeria is safe, Nigeria is secure, there's no hunger in the land, I am just earnestly hoping and wishing that Nigeria that they claim is great, that it actually happens to them and their loved ones. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not exist around people who are actually really having it hard, and even you yourself, you would not know how tough the country is today. You will not know. You see these higher ups? That is the only aspiration they have for the common man. And you see, the other day, I think it was sometime last week, when I saw on the news that in a particular state, they organized a mass wedding for all the young girls. They organized a mass wedding for all of them. Was it Zamfara State? I'm thinking if it's Zamfara State. And then the First Lady, the governor's wife, stood on the podium. If you see herself, you know that this one looks young. stood on the podium and she was talking about how, yeah, it is for their own benefits, blah, blah, blah. And I wept. I wept for the lost futures of those children. You know why? Because why couldn't they sponsor those children to school? Why couldn't they enroll them in some technical skilled trainings? Teach these children things about the digital age. Teach these children how to make things. I mean, one thing I love about going on TikTok a lot is when you go on TikTok and you search for things about kindergarten schools in China, you will see how children from the young age of 4, 5, they started teaching them how to become anything they want to become in life. They are teaching them how to make clothes. They are teaching them how to make shoes. In their school's curriculum, they have at least 1 or 2 hours, created to learn new skills. You see young children learning how to cook, learning how to farm, learning how to do things. They are teaching them, both boys and girls, doesn't even matter the gender of the child. They are teaching them how to make things with their hand. They teach them science, how to create electricity using little things. It is so intriguing to watch. But in this same Nigeria, we have governors of different states in northern Nigeria packing 500 young girls, 1,000 of them. The other one was over 500 orphans, female orphans. They pack all of them and then they throw them into marriages. Say their bride price is 15,000 naira each. They throw them into marriages. Children whose frontal lobe has not fully developed, who don't even know anything. They just pack them as young as they are and they dump them to one man that only God knows. And it just goes to show you that politicians in this country, as I said before, they will not allow the masses to aspire more than they want. But guess what? They have children. They have sons. They have daughters. Their own daughters are schooling abroad. Their own daughters have security personnel protecting them 24/7. There's a particular video I saw of the daughter of a governor of a particular northern state using a fighter jet to travel out of her state. And she put that video on TikTok, proudly showing herself that, oh yes, this is the military fighter jet that she's using to travel out of the country. She was actually bragging about it. More like telling Nigerians, fuck you all, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, make it make sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to talk too much because I actually have a lot to say, but I really want to hear from all of you. I've played those videos, so I want to hear your thoughts about those videos. First question, is it true that according to the president's spokesperson, Mr. BAYO ONANUGA, that there is no hunger in the land, that there is no insecurity in the land? Is it true? And then from the second video, the First Lady of Nigeria talking about how she has proudly empowered women by encouraging them to go and sell akara, sell kuli kuli, and sell whatever rubbish she's actually promoting out there. Do you think that that is actually a reasonable, a sensible empowerment program for women in Nigeria in this 2026? I'm going to drop the link in the comment section because I would love to hear from all of you. So please go ahead, click the link in the comment section below to come on stage to speak, all right? If you have anything to contribute to the conversation, click on the link and I'll bring you on stage immediately. Yeah, so the link is in the comment section. If you have anything you want to contribute, go ahead and click on the link. Yeah. Okay. So we have Mr. James. Mr. James, you're welcome to the conversation. Mr. James? Mr. James, we can't hear you. Mr. James? I don't know what's going on. Guys, can you hear Mr. James? I can't hear Mr. James. I don't know if anybody else can hear Mr. James. Please let me know. Okay, if there's anybody else that wants to speak, please click on the link to come on stage to speak whilst we try to figure out why we cannot hear Mr. James. I'm going to remove him and then, okay, Mr. James, nobody can hear you. Mr. James, we can't hear you. So I suggest you log off and then come back on. Okay, hi, Mr. James. Good afternoon. Welcome to the conversation. We can't hear you, sir. If there's anybody else that wants to join the conversation, please click the link to join. All right. All right. Oluwaseun, you are welcome to the conversation. Oluwaseun, you have to unmute. Okay, I don't know what's happening today. David, you are welcome to the conversation.
Hi, Glory. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh,
Welcome,
good.
David.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a very touching topic. The answers to your questions are very, very clear. Number one, I don't know what's his name? The guy that the speaker, what's his
BAYO
name again? The
ONANUGA.
guy, I don't know what he's smoking, but he's smoking something. And I don't think it's marijuana. He has to be smoking something or cannabis, because how can you say that with a straight face? How? It's not possible. Like, and this is not even propaganda, right? You can't say that. The government cannot be saying that there's propaganda. That's why, like all the kidnappings and all insecurities, it's not propaganda. It's not. It is not. I mean, I don't know what planet is living on, and I don't know if you've noticed how every single presidential speaker always says things, even the one before him, the one Femi, the one for Buhari, right? It was all, do you have to defend? How can this is what happens when you can't defend the defenseless, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
defend it. You just cannot. It's like me telling you that water is not wet. How can
Like,
you say that? You know, it's not possible for me to prove to you that water is not wet, right?
mm-hmm.
I mean, these days, if they tell you, what's that proverb or that saying they say in Africa, where they say that if someone tells you, because you've lost so much trust in them, if they tell you it's sunny outside or it's raining, you actually have to go look yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is ultimate gaslighting. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
can you can't gaslight the masses like this? This is, I don't even know. I don't want to spend time on bio. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, is he trying to, is this for his belly, is this for his food to keep his position, right? Do you have to lie to this point? Sometimes, it's better to just say nothing. It's better
Mm-hmm.
to say, oh, we are busy, basically something like this. Oh, we actually, I know it's bad, and we're actually working on it. That's it. For
Mm-hmm.
you to now say it's not happening, that's crazy. Now, the second one is even more is more annoying, right? So, Remy Tinubu, I don't know. So, let me start by saying that I struggle when very wealthy people get to a place of authority, because they have, before they get there, they don't have the connection with the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think there's a problem there. I remember, I think it was in the 90s. Italy had Berlusconi. He was the richest man in Italy. He became the prime minister of Italy. We know how that turned out. We had to go to jail and all that. If you look at South Africa, some of the presidents they've had were wealthy people. How did they? People, people that keep putting very wealthy people. I don't know why they do that, because these people don't. The circles they roll in, they just are not coming from where you are. And if somebody has not worn the shoe you're wearing, how would they understand what you're feeling? So the counter argument to that people give, I've heard them say over and over again, is I want a rich person, a wealthy person to be president because then he's not going to steal the money. No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, that's when the person wants to, there's a difference between power and wealth, right? But when one of them goes unchecked, right, abuse is inevitable. That's what happens. Abuse now happens, right? Remi Tinubu has lost touch with, I don't know her story. I don't know wherever she's coming from. What I mean is she and her husband. I don't know if there was a time they were dirt poor, if they were not even middle class, maybe they were low class. I don't know that story, right? But I don't even need to know it again right now because what I'm seeing now is someone who's disconnected, just like Bayo is disconnected with reality. She's disconnected. Now, it's one thing for you to tell me that, hey, David, you try to be proactive, don't rely on the government. Try to start businesses yourself. Try to be proactive. But even if you're going to tell me that there's a problem with it, that information should not be coming from the government.
Mm-hmm.
You see what like if someone else that is not in power is telling you, hey David, don't sit down, you have a degree and all that. Don't sit down, just you go and hustle, right? Go out there, do something, even if it means starting a small business, and it might not look like a lucrative business to begin with. Some people make millions packing poop. They do that, right? But that is because but you don't have to tell me that. One, two, it shouldn't be coming from you who's supposed to make the field level playing field for me, right? So I know there is no office of the first lady. There's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since what's this guy's name? IBB's wife, Babangida's wife, the one who died, ever since she was the first lady, since from then till now, every first lady has been looked at. People now pay attention who that person is, right? And the person may not have an official position, but the person is powerful. So you can't just and to making mistakes like that for someone who has actually been a senator before, right, multiple times, it speaks. It's bad. At the end of the day, do I think she's going to make another mistake again? Yes. This is probably not going to be the end of it. Just I know the anger we have now is not going to go anywhere because it's going to be more of it. But just imagine this, right? Even with all of I've just said, some people are still going to vote for these people again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when you have to start stopping and thinking about the psyche of people. What drives people to vote? The other day, right? And I know probably you've seen this video. I know you did not show this one, right? But the other day in Ekiti State, they did elections in Ekiti State, right? And the sitting governor came back again. It was re-elected, right? Prior to that, right? Few days before the election, they were throwing bread,
Oh
bread.
yeah, I saw that one.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Like they were throwing
Mm-hmm.
like the in the rap, like bread to people, like and people were scrambling for it. There's another picture. There's another video of a lady boasting, saying that she got $15,000. Sorry, dollars. What am I saying? Dollars, naira. That they gave her 15,000 naira,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
that.
they have a vote, right? So you again goes back to that thing. Why are the have-nots voting for the haves? There's a have you, as your psyche becomes so washed off to the point where you just don't consider yourself anything again, and it's just a transaction of every 4 years. Give me something that will last me 2 days, and I'm going to sell my 4 years to you. Is that where we are right now? And maybe that's where we are. Maybe we should see. You can't fix a problem without accepting that you have a problem, right? I'm saying here, and it may be controversial, but I'm saying that as bad as we're pointing to all these poor leadership mistakes they're making and all that, the people themselves, I'm not saying everyone, because not everyone voted, not everyone is supporting all this crap, right? But there's a majority, there are people that are, the number is alarming. Politics is a game of numbers, right? So when a populace has a lot of, there's a trend going on now, OLODO, Olodos, right? When you have a lot of Olodos in the population, you're going to have Olodos as leaders. So imagine you are crying, we are crying here, we're in a place where we are. I'm hoping that this is not an echo chamber where it's only like minds that are thinking straight are just talking. Are we breaking into those Olodos minds? I don't know that. You do well to not assume that everyone thinks like you. Not everyone thinks like you. I'm telling you, Glory, not everyone thinks like you or Mr. A or anyone or like me or anyone on this call. Not everyone thinks like us, right? Some people are just literally, give me something for now, I'm going to sell my vote. And how do you talk to someone like that? How? How? They've been trying to do this for years. Some people don't see anything wrong in what Remi Tinubu said. Can you imagine that?
Ah,
Some people like, so I don't know what, I don't know how. I have to stop here, let other people talk. But it's painful. It is painful.
it means.
My experience in the, so I can give you an example, right? So my experience is that some people vote to harm themselves. Some people vote to harm themselves because they want to spite someone else.
It's insane.
So they would rather remain in penury and poverty just because they don't want the other person to succeed. All of us are in this together. We're all going to suffer. Some people actually, that's what motivates them to vote. So don't get it twisted that everyone is thinking, oh, we're going to move things forward. No, 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 no. It comes back to 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking, when I said, I remember when I said I was going to dissent from everyone, and I said the solution is the foundation. If the foundation is faulty, what will the righteous do? If you're building a house and the foundation is cracked, right? And you're building a house, you can't, no matter how much brick or pillar you put there, you have to go back and break that foundation, break the ground again. The foundation of the country is faulty. And if people are not, they don't want, this is the truth, I'm telling you. Because Glory, this is a new cycle, right? This new
Mhm.
cycle of what Remy did is going to go away. Before you know, another new cycle is going to come. How much news cycles will we keep staying on and on and on when things are just running around and still being the same?
David,
If you
do
want
you know the
change, yeah,
scariest part? Do you know the scariest
yeah,
part of her video? It wasn't even the things that she was saying, because to be very honest, I've seen a number of her videos, and every time she opens her mouth, she's just being provocative. She says the
right,
darnest things that you can't even fathom. Like, why is this woman? Just shut up. Just shut up, already. That's what comes to your mind. But as I said, I wasn't particularly shocked at the things that she was saying, because that is how almost every politician that is an embezzler of money, that is how they think. Their own
right,
selfish interest. What really stood out for me in that video were the people around her who were, you know, they were nodding their head.
I
Look at
know,
that man, looking like a somebody's father of the year, somebody's love of their life, that looks very serious. And then the other women who should be ashamed of themselves and of even what she was opening her mouth to say. They were in agreement. They were like, like she was saying something very deep and powerful. And I'm like, you see, it is these same women who go into the inner communities in those rural areas, those villages. They go there and then they brainwash the communities there to tell them that, oh, you should do, just literally press them down, let them stay where they are and not grow beyond their, current situation. It is people like that. Every time the first lady comes out to talk about, oh, she did this empowerment program, I'm scared. I'm scared because the first thing that comes to my mind is, what are they teaching these people in these so-called empowerment programs? That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
yeah, yeah. So two things. I mean, I don't know what to add to what you just said. Two things are true here, right? In the past few months, right, what I've been afraid of has been things like democracy backsliding. You know, when they say someone is a religious person and they backslide, right? They say, oh, Glory, you've not been going to church. Why have you not been going to church, Glory? You're a backslider. You know what I'm talking about, right? So
Mhm.
there's something called democracy backsliding, right? I've been afraid of, that's when the issue of one party states, are we going to a place that is not really democracy anymore, and we're now losing democracy even though it's a civilian rule, right? I've been having that problem in my mind with Nigeria and all that, but until now there's another problem I'm having. Again, it's this one is called the tyranny of democracy. So the tyranny of the majority. Remember that democracy is a game of numbers, right? So the when you said those women were nodding their heads like a gamma lizards, right? Right. The people, if the majority of the people are foolish, then that's a big problem. The problem of dealing with a bad leader pales in comparison to when people are foolish, because when the people are foolish, they'll keep putting bad leaders there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's the one person that is bad, but the people are not that foolish, they can make changes when they need to change, right? I'm at a crossroad here. I don't know if it's due to people are just disconnected and they've given up, or they're actually not giving up, but there are more people that are bad than we think that are good. So every time elections comes up, the people that actually go and line up in the rain and sunshine are the people that do not want things to change the right way, right? And if that is where we are, that we have the tyranny of the, we have more people, the tyranny of the masses, the more people are the ones that are bad, then where do we start from? Where do we start
Mm-hmm.
from? A typical example is, let's assume there are 90 million people that have PVCs, right? 90 million people, right? And less than 30% votes. That's a problem already. Because the person that will go and line up to vote is because the person wants to go and vote, right? There must be something that is pushing you to line up, right? And if the reason is, if the other people, the people that are supporting bad governance, right, are the ones that are easily going to go and line up that day, then how do we get out from this mess? You know, and it's, I don't want to create a hopeless situation. Like, I don't want it to be like maybe there's no hope, but again, I don't want to sell falsehood to people too. That's why I said I'm in a tough spot. I don't want to tell you it's kumbaya, hold your hands, raise up, say things will just fall in place. Things will not just fall in place. Nothing just happens. You have to make some movement. But I am just saying the movement should be the foundation. Don't play games no more. The games, time for game is gone. It's
Mm-hmm.
gone. Otherwise, it's Remi Tinubu today. You don't want to have a Remi Tinubu 2.0. Do you know, and I'm sure you know this, Glory, right? That every government I know in every country in the world, right, that practices democracy, where you can do more than one term, right? The person's second term is more laid back than their first term,
Mm-hmm.
which means if whatever they want to do, if you didn't do it in the first time, second time when you're not going to come back, you're not going to do it. So it's a telltale sign of, is this how bad things are going to be? So if you think it's bad now, what's going
It's
to
gonna be
happen when the
worse.
person? What's going to happen when the person doesn't have to come back to you for the ballots, right? It's tough. I might come back if I have time, but I want to hear other people talk too, like you said. But yeah, people, the agama. At least you're nodding your head, but not like an agama, right? You're nodding your head in a real way now. No, but in agreement, right? But it's these people nod their heads. Give them $5 and they will nod their head. Give
Mm-hmm.
them $10, they'll nod their head. Give them 5,000 naira, they'll nod their head.
Mm-hmm.
Throw bread to them, they will nod their head.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're telling people to go and you're telling people to empower themselves by going to sell akara and all that, but you're giving the women leader of your party cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, make that make sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Make that make sense to me. And if, okay, let me just keep quiet here, because if I go in and go in, and it be like I'm just raising my blood pressure unnecessarily, and I want to keep it low. I want to keep it low. I might come back if there's time. If there's nobody, I'll come up. Otherwise, let me just listen. Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much. Before I move on to Mr. James, first off, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to contribute to the conversation, the link is in the comment section. Please go ahead, click on it, and I'll bring you on the stage. Number two thing is, whilst David was speaking, he mentioned about PVC and all, and I want to use this opportunity to call out INEC. INEC. I know somebody that for the past 2 weeks has been struggling to register for their PVC. And every time this person goes to INEC office in their area, they will say the server is down. And this person went to another INEC office, the same thing, they say the server is down. And then this person went to another office and they told this person to go to Takwa Bay. If you live in Lagos, Nigeria, you will know that to go to Takwa Bay, you need to take a boat and cross a river. And it's going to last you, I think, about 45 minutes or thereabout, depending on where you are on that boat to get to Takwa Bay. So at this point, there are a lot of questions raised here. Is INEC trying to frustrate Nigerians? Because there are so many people that have complained about this thing online. that they've been going for the past 1 week, 2 weeks. People are leaving their jobs, taking excuses just to go and register for their PVC. But every time they go to INEC office, it's either they're telling them the server is down, or they're giving them numbers that, oh, wait, we'll attend to you when the server comes up. Or when the so-called server eventually comes up from down where it was, they will now say, oh, they can only register 20 people in one day. The frustration is real. Nigerians are trying to participate in the 2027 elections by registering for their PVC, but this whole excuse of server is down, it is frustrating Nigerians. So INEC, whatever it is that you're doing, Nigerians are watching you, because 2027 is not going to be like 2022. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that is always causing the server to be down, you better fix it. Because I think the deadline is 10th of July. So for the past 3 weeks, imagine the whole of June, server has been down. The whole of June. And then 10th of July will come and people will say, oh, the process has ended. In other words, you have successfully disenfranchised millions of Nigerians that have been struggling to register for their PVC. So INEC, whatever it is that you're doing, get your acts in order. Because if this is your way of reducing people that will turn out to vote, it's not going to work. Because 2027 is not going to, 2022 is not going to repeat itself. Mahmoud Yakubu performed his magic. INEC, 2027 is not going to be the same. Anyways, let's speak with Mr. James. Mr. James, you're welcome to the conversation. Mr. James, are you there? I don't know what's happening today. We can't hear Mr. James. Mr. James, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, sir? Maybe can you try increasing the volume of your device? Maybe that could be it. What's going on? Do you have a headphone connected? What's happening? Okay, let me ask you, is this the same device that you always use to join the conversation? What could be the problem? I don't even know what to do. Okay, so sir, do you have another device that you can use to join? Let's see if it's going to work. Maybe log out of this device. No other one. Yo. Okay. I'm going to hold on. Guys, we're just going to hold on for Mr. James to try and sort it out, all right? But yeah, if there's anybody else that wants to join the conversation, the link is in the comment section. Please go ahead and click on the link to share your thoughts, all right? But yeah, while we're waiting for people to join, ladies and gentlemen, still on the conversation, the first 2 videos that I played, I'm going to play those videos again for those of you that are just joining right now. So I'm going to play those 2 videos again so that you see the point from whence we are having this conversation.
Monies are trickling down to people with regard to those loans.
We have been pigeonholed into certain assumptions, certain conclusions. People just say it's like in the early days of this government. I think the president went to Lagos. I think it was coming from the Central Mosque, and somebody now did a voiceover. And that means we are hungry. Since then, people have been saying that, hey, we are hungry.
Yeah, but
I'm a Nigerian. Yeah. I have people working for me privately. I don't see the level of hunger people are talking about, because I see them and I keep asking them questions. How are things? How are they adjusting? What are the problems?
We're trying to give hope, and to start akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start roasting corn, or somebody even said about grant, you see they're saying that kuli doesn't take much. We didn't give them a loan, we gave it to them as a grant. So we've encouraged Nigerians as best as we could. What is within our hands, I have given, and I keep giving. you know, and those are the things we've done. I remember giving for TB, when I heard there's so much TB cases, I gave 2 billion. To breast cancer, I gave 1 billion. To food malnutrition, I gave 500 million. So those are the things we've been doing and making sure we can make sure that whatever this government is trying to do, that it will see the light of the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the clips. The first one in particular is an excerpt from an interview on Arise TV. The entire interview is available on Arise TV. So if you want to watch it, go ahead and check it out so that you can hear everything that Mr. Bayo Onanuga said. All right. And the other one, that is your First Lady. All right. So whilst we're still waiting for people to join, I also want to pick up something out of what David said when David was speaking. You know, the rich becoming, you know, powerful in terms of the rich becoming president. Now, I personally believe that, okay, Mr. James is here. Mr. James, can you say something? Let's hear. Wow, still not working. This is sad. I don't know what's going on today. I don't know. I don't even know what to do at this point, Mr. James. If you had another device, I would have said that you should try the other device. Maybe if you have another phone, or maybe you have your laptop there, I don't know. It would have really helped. I don't know. The only two things I could think of was to turn off your video, but you've done that already and it's still not working. So I don't know. Oh, your devices are home. Sad, 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 sad. Okay, sir, we're still here. Anyways, we're still here. If you're still able to join us, we're still here. All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully Mr. James is able to join us, especially with his audio. It's just really sad that he's having issues with his audio. All right. Okay. So I'm still waiting. If there's anybody that wants to join the conversation, you're welcome to join. But yeah, back to the conversation. I was saying about rich leaders or rich presidents. I personally do not think that most rich people cannot connect to the poor. And the reason I think so is because I think there's a place for empathy. Yeah, there's a place for empathy. If someone in power, be it the president or not, if someone is in power is able to take themselves to the poor, yeah? In other words, the president, for example, cannot say that he has not been hearing the cries of Nigerians. The president cannot say that he is only ever surrounded by the sycophancy of the people around him. Yeah? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, if the president is able to visit communities, move around, see things for yourself. Because you see, there's a problem in Nigeria. These politicians, they've normalized seeing squalor in Nigeria. They've normalized it. They've normalized seeing poverty everywhere. There's a way you move around Nigeria and you'll just be seeing things just looking decayed and dilapidated and poor and just sad. They've normalized it. So if these rich people in power are able to move around and also be open-minded enough to even have a shred of empathy, I want to strongly believe that they will be able to feel the pain of the poor. Without that, if they continue to hide themselves in their fortresses of power, they will never be able to feel the pains and the struggles of the common Nigerian. Anyways, Mr. James is back. David is also back. Mr. James, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you, but your volume is low. Can you try to increase your volume? But that's the highest. Um, you're using your phone. Can anybody hear Mr. James loud and clear? Because I can hear him faintly. Can anybody hear Mr. James really loud? Uh, Mr. James, I can't really hear you at all, sir. Sir, they can't hear you as well. Sir, they can't hear you. This is really sad. Okay, David, welcome back. Welcome back, David.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for Mr. James. Actually, he's really trying to come back, and for some
Yeah.
reason, and he was actually echoing the very end of it before he dropped off. I don't know what's going on. Okay, to your point, you're actually right, Gloria. I came back because of what you were saying. It's true. Not you can't use the same brush for everyone. So there's some rich people that can be good leaders. That's fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some rich people are philanthropists, right? They're philanthropists even before, like without power, they just do things that they try to help. Some rich people that are philanthropists, right? They give, there's some people that do that, right? They know where, and there's some people that from wherever they came from, they know that they don't want to, understand the pains, and it remains with in their psyche, and they keep
Mm-hmm.
trying to give back to society. There are people like that, right? In fact, there's also the other way around where you can be from a very poor background, humble beginnings, and you now get to power, and then you now become very bad. You now
Yes.
suddenly also I've also seen that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of the state of the mind of the individual. Is the state of the mind, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the wealth in itself that defines how you're going to be, if you're going to be a good person or not. Do
Yes.
you? It's actually what happens. Okay, he's here. I mean, I can keep quiet for him. Let me just keep quiet. You can let him talk because I've
Okay.
spoken before. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. James. Oh, he's frozen on my screen.
Oh, oh.
Come on. He's
Okay.
frozen.
I was trying to. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. So as I was saying, right? It's the state of the mind of the leader that determines what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
True leadership is about making influence in people's lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a leader is not someone that is because of your title, your position. That is not leadership, right? Because if you take away the title of that person, does that person still remain a leader? when
Exactly.
and many people are just hung on this, oh, you do you know who I am, do you know who I am crap, and they
Mm-hmm.
just want to be, they just want to echo, they want to be like lording it over us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back to that issue of richness, of poverty. And can you speak now? Can you speak now?
Mr. James, can you speak? So let's hear you. Ah, David, can you hear him? He sounds very
I can
faint.
hear him, but it sounds distant. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds to me. Yeah, but I can hear him, but it sounds distant.
Sir? Oh, God. The
He said it's
phone.
the fault of the phone. I think that's what he
Oh, the
said. He
fault
said
of
the
the
fault of the
phone.
phone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me make one final suggestion, sir, please. I mean, I really appreciate all this work you're putting into this. I appreciate it. The other device you were using, right? Can you check the browser of the device if it allows for you to use your microphone? I think you need to allow that device to have access to your microphone. Could you please check it? If you're joining via a browser, you could check the settings of the browser and then check microphone access. Yeah. Yes. So check microphone access and see if you allowed it. Yeah. I think that should help. Okay, David, please carry on.
Okay, continue. Okay, yeah. So it comes back to the mindset of the individual, right? So if you are a leader that wants to make a positive impact in people's lives, right?
Mm,
There is a way you're wired, right? And it doesn't matter what if your background may help you get there, may help you form you to become positive minded, but it's not all of it, right? While you are there as a leader, you might have something that happens to you personally that might tweak your life, and suddenly you become a good person, right? So I try to give people benefit of the doubt, but the truth of the matter is some people are just set in their ways. If they're bad,
Yes.
they're bad. And it's the wealth is not the people that those philanthropic people, the rich people that are philanthropists, they rarely seek power. They really seek power. It's the rich ones that are not philanthropists, that are the ones that actually seek power, you know, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's so hard for you to get them. That's another problem I have with the way the country is structured is having so much power in the center is bad, right? It's almost like that's why people are even afraid the person may not want to leave, may just change the constitution, because there's too much power there. You make this power go to the regions. Don't make it too what's the word now? The right word is don't make it too attractive, you know. And I don't know. Yes, it's what it is. We just have to live with this, find a way around it. There might be some truth. I was making some comments in the comments, reading the comment section. Someone said something about maybe it's even a distraction, intentional distraction to make that statement. Remember, I talked about how the news cycle keeps changing, right? So there are, at least I've seen this in the United States, where people in if a news cycle is not favoring the government, they intentionally do something to change the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you change the narrative. So all of a sudden, the people that are kidnapped in Oyo State, people are no more talking about them like with so
Mm-hmm.
much fervor. Now we're talking about Accra and all that, right? That is what I'm saying. Some people play the game of the media. They actually play that game. They know when things are going south and they just change it. I'm not saying it's intentional, but I cannot rule it out. That's what I'm saying. Like it might be, it might not be, but I have to accept that option, and you have to keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on the ball. The ball is how do you get good governance? There's no, and how do you get about that? And how do you know that the person who's appearing good right now, when they get there, they will still be good?
Mm-hmm.
There's also that I've seen before. If you, I mean, Glory, you went to, I don't know if you went to boarding school. I don't know if you went to a
No, I
boarding school,
didn't.
right?
No.
But at least you went to secondary school, right? You went to
Yeah.
secondary school, right? You know that there is JS and there's SS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the prefects are chosen in SS, right? They are SS2, SS3, right? Okay. Now, when you are in JS1 or JS2, right? If you went to a boarding school, and I'm sure even in day school, right, there is a lot of punishment that's handed down from the seniors to the juniors, right? Hey, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And some of those things are not they're not warranted. Like it's almost like you're doing this you just want to punish me. There's no reason for it, right? Just because you are the senior, you're punishing me, right? And then in the minds of the junior, when that is going on, the junior person is pissed off and he's like, this is not good. This is not good. Go home, midterm break, and all that. You're not happy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you will hope that when the person gets to become a senior, they will not do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you hope. Well, let me bust your bubble. 99.9% of the time, that person, when they get to SS2, do you know what I'm saying? They become
Mm-hmm.
that thing, right?
Yeah.
So the people, when people complain, they complain. I listen to them, but I don't know how much. If you that are even talking now, right? If you get to that place, I don't know what you're gonna do. I really don't know what you're gonna do. Like, are you not a product of your society? And if the society is producing things like this, are we not going to? Do we not? Shouldn't we work on not producing people like that? Because now it's like a vicious cycle, right? You replace one person that is bad with another person that is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You have any questions?
Yes, David. Yeah, I do actually. So there's this lady's tweet that I saw on the X app. I'm trying to look for the tweet. Sorry, 1 second. I mean,
Yeah.
that tweet was so apt, of course, in relation to what we're discussing today. So she said they can fund Hajj, they can fund bandits, they can fund data boys. Of course, we know who data boys are
Yeah, we know
online.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they can fund Jerusalem in terms of those people that go for pilgrimage. They can
Pilgrimage,
fund
yeah.
propaganda. We've heard the stories of how they paid a particular firm, lobbyist
Nine
firm in
nine
the US.
million nine $9 million. Yeah.
Exactly.
That was a half payment. Yeah.
Oh, half payment. See, yeah, they can fund fake bishops. We saw that story, I think, about 2 years
Correct.
ago. They can fund campaign rights, which is now a regular normalized thing. They
And
can fund
bread.
presidential jet. They can fund go to court. David, are you aware that they've actually set aside a massive budget for election cases come 2027? So it's like they are preparing that, oh, after the election, if there's any case in court, there's already money on ground for that.
And that's a red flag, by the way. That's a red flag,
Yeah,
by the way. That
yeah,
means there's going to be problem. That's what they're saying. For you
yes.
to do that, because okay, keep going though, keep going. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you know what that means. If
yeah.
if the president does not get a second term, it means they're taking everything to court, and they've already kept money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she went ahead to say they can fund campaign buses, very obvious to see. They can fund presidential yacht. They can fund the Pabio and Glutons. They can fund repentant terrorists. That is one that is so personal to me that I would never agree to
Accept.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
They can fund thugs and vote buying. They can fund City Boys movement. That movement is, if you look at it, it's in billions. David, it's unbelievable. So really, it's unbelievable the amount of billions they've invested in that movement. And I
Billions,
can't,
billions.
David, have you seen the vehicles, the
I've seen
buses?
so I've seen the vehicles. To me, it's comic relief. What I mean is, keep going, keep reading it. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Said they can fund Julius Abure, Lamidi Papa, nephew, blah, 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 blah. And the rest, and the rest, and the rest, they cannot fund the. It's a long tweet, but my purpose for bringing out this tweet is
yeah.
that if they can fund all these unnecessary,
Things.
diabolical things,
Yeah.
why is it difficult to fund a proper women empowerment program?
Oh, yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I say a proper one, I'm talking about setting up proper shop, not outside your compound shop. I mean, shop that would teach these women how to make proper things that they can actually sell at proper markets for proper prices.
Valid
Why does it
point.
have to be why does it have to be go and sell akara and kuli kuli? I feel like that's an insult
It's
to
derogatory,
the
right? Yeah.
Nigerian woman. It's an insult.
So let me start this way. To answer your question, it's a very valid question, and I cannot answer for them. And I think there's really no way to answer for them. Like water is going to always be wet, so any excuse anyone wants to give is not going to make sense, right?
Mhm,
But it's the same society that has not respected women. Let's
mhm,
start there, right? So, before you empower someone, does the law favor that person? If something goes wrong, the law does not even favor them to begin with, right? It's a patriarchal society. We know that, right? So, they that is why they will say that. Why did you not hear things like the man should go and sell akara? No, right? That's part of the problem. I'm saying there's also
mhm,
that issue. I'm not going to go there, but there's that issue too, right? So
mhm,
how many governors in the country are females? There's that issue there, right? Well, how many? There's that issue that you're not even addressing because, hey, if you don't have a seat on the table, if your representation doesn't have a seat on the table, they are not representing you.
mhm,
Your demographic, your gender, your race, your religion is not being represented. That's where we are now, right?
mhm,
And then they leave you to get the crumbs, and the crumbs here is akara and all those things, right?
mhm,
So yeah, so yes, there's no way to excuse them. The thing that they've been funding, right? That list that you read is so shameful that I don't even know how you can do worse than that.
mhm,
But believe me, it can even get worse. This is how bad things are, right? Believe me,
mhm,
when you think that you can go lower, it can go lower. And if you can use money for the right, if you want to empower someone, right? You are teaching someone how to fish, not giving them fish, right? That's what that
mhm.
means, right? So you're
Yes.
like you said, you are trying to set up a and we've already known that to an extent. Education, I don't want to call education a scam because it's not really a scam, right?
Mhm,
But do you know how many people have graduated and they don't have a job? And to someone to say that for someone to say that it's not the government's place to find a job for you, well, I don't also entirely agree on that statement. Then why did the government exist to begin with, right? It's not to make us things that enabling so that we can prosper, right? There's no excuse for this one. It is bad, it's bad, it's bad. And we I don't know how much we should keep looking up to these people for any. There is also this thing about the Messiah mentality, where people are wishing that someone will come and no, there is no knight in the shining armor, right? Democracy
Mhm.
doesn't work that way. Democracy is a game of numbers. I'm reminding people over and over and over again, right? You have to have a critical mass of people that have gotten to a point that have the vote, the 50% or more, for you to make the change you want. So if you keep having this delusion that you are in the majority when you are really not in the majority, because you've not looked at the map very well to know where those other people are, you're wasting your time. I'm being very practical. If you want to make the change, Glory, if we all want to make the change we are looking for, right? Put the 36 states on the map. Look at where the population is. Look at the number of youths that we have in the country is so much more. It's 2 times the number of the non-youths, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if the youth want change, it's going to happen. So the question now is why? How can you get to those youths and then get them to be on your side and then make sure they show up on that day? That's the steps that need to happen, right? Anything else, you're going to be back to where you are right now, and then
But
you're going to be
David,
back to
do you know that do you know that that's almost gonna be, I don't want to say impossible, but it's definitely gonna be a Herculean task. You know why?
yeah,
Because the section of the country that has the most population of youth, which is obviously the north, yeah.
yeah,
Do you
yes,
know what's happening over there? Have you noticed that it's not even up to 1% of the youths in the north that are actually speaking up about how marginalized their society is? And when I say marginalized, sometimes it's not even about the government, it's about their leaders. It's like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like that is why they are seriously trying to push for Sharia law in all the northern states and even extend it to other parts of Nigeria. Why? Because it subjugates them to not question anything that they are told by their religious leaders. So
yeah, yeah,
so what happens is what they should be complaining about, like what the youth in the south and the west complains about, they normalize it in the north and make them believe that if they agitate, then they are actually going against the gospel of their holy book. And they are also being disrespectful to their elders. So they use religion to really subjugate them. They use it to brainwash them. And so they cannot think straight. Because think about it, David. How is it that when we talk about this insecurity issue in Nigeria, the North have really suffered for it the most? So the
yeah.
question is, why hasn't their youth protested for one day ever? I mean, for the past 15 years, their youths have never protested for
So,
it.
so let me say 2 things. Very good questions, right? And I know other people are on this call now, and I'll let them come in like when you want them to come in. But let me answer your question. You're very, very right. You're spot on, right? In some things, when you normalize something, it becomes your new norm. For example, let me speak based on my profession. Let me speak, right? When you're in your 20s and 30s and you hear that people have high blood pressure, hypertension, right? You're like, this is something. And that they take a pill every day or 2 pills every day. You're like, this is something. But when the person's blood pressure is like 150s or 90s for weeks and they start you on a blood pressure medication, that's your new normal. And that means that you're going to be on that medication for life, right?
Mhm.
So that's your new normal, right? Now take that same concept into what you just said. The person who's from the south, and this is just, we're not saying all this happens to everyone in the south and everyone in the north. I'm just using it as an example, right? The
Mm.
person, the youth in the south is pretty much different from the youths in the north. There are some
Mhm.
similarities and there are some differences. Is the difference I want
Mhm.
to talk about now, right? And that difference feeds into what you just said, right? So in the South, you have a youth, and this is just a hypothetical case, right? You have a youth who has a business on social media, right? They do their business on social media. They need to buy airtime. They need to have. They are on the internet for most of the time. They have access to the internet. So if internet doesn't work, it's a frustration to them. If light is not exists, it's a frustration to them. Now,
Mhm.
imagine a youth in somewhere in Castina Ala, Castina, right? Who does not have access to internet, right? That is not his that's not his life. That is not his issue, right? That is not his problem. I'm not saying that it's not a problem, but that's not his problem. You see what I'm saying, right? So human beings, most humans are, for all intents and purposes, selfish. You first look out for yourself. E.g., if you are someone also in the diaspora and you usually do business in Nigeria, right? You come in and do business in Nigeria. If your business is thriving, you'll think the government of the day is doing well. If your business is not thriving, you think the government of the day is not doing well. And that is because you are looking at it from your own lens, which is that you do business in Nigeria as a diaspora, right? If you are, for every business for every time, there's cause and effect here, right? For every time there's something that one person feels is bad, there's someone else that is cashing out, right?
Yes.
Do you know that there are some people that are cashing out with this kidnapping business, right?
Absolutely.
So those people, they think that the business is going on, right? Meanwhile, the person who's been kidnapped is not doing well. So the realities, the lived realities of the northern youths is somewhat different from the lived realities of the southern youths, right? So in that case, that lived reality will now make you make assertion make your decision if something is warrant dying for, fighting, going to the street for, or not. That's one. On the religious part you talked about, you see, when the Sharia law, I don't know the entire law in of itself, right? But I do know that something, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. There's something about if you steal, they cut your hand or something like that, right? So if the poor man steals and they catch him, maybe a mechanic, they cut his hand. But if the governor of that same state that signed the Sharia law into steals billions, they don't cut his hand or his hands, right? So telling you that it's actually a tool to manipulate the system to the benefit of the haves. Everything on this thing is rigged against the poor man. I'm sorry, that is the reality on ground. No matter how you turn the table, that's where you're going to come back to. Yeah, let me keep quiet. Loving for conversation. I really want to hear what every other person is going to say, Mr. A, Mr. James. But I think this is a very good conversation, Glory.
Yeah. Thank you
Thanks.
so much, David. Thank you so much. And also thank you for sticking around. Mr. James, you're welcome back. Mr. A, you're welcome back. But Mr. A, please 1 second. Let's check if Mr. A and Mr. James has got his audio back. Mr. James, is everything okay now? Hey, I don't even have a solution anymore at this point. I don't even know what's happening. Why today of all days? Oh my goodness. Mr. James, I am so sorry this is happening with your device. I don't even know.
I mean, can I make a suggestion to Mr. James? Mr. James, can you check whether are you using like a Windows or something, the desktop? Yeah, so just check whether your mic is it muted, check it in your devices or device manager, see whether your mic is actually muted.
Okay, he said he's using his laptop.
Yeah, so if you go into at the corner, if you type something like device manager, and you should see something come up, and then just look for your mic to see whether it's actually active or not.
Mr. James, would like your feedback, please. All those things Mr. A is pointing out, can you see them? Okay, he said yes, he can see them. So have you seen your mic? Mic or microphone? Have you seen it?
If you go to like the sound section, there should be a sound category.
He said yes.
Just see whether, does it look like it's okay,
Is it on? Your mic, is it on? He said okay. So have you turned on the mic? Like you click on it to come on? He said it is okay. He has clicked on it to turn on.
Okay, the only other thing I can think of then, it's your when you logged in via the browser, there should be something that says allow permission access for video and for mic access. I don't know whether you've allowed access to your mic. Just beside the URL, you should see like a box there that says allow permission.
Yeah. I also have the same thing on my browser right now. You see the browser where you have the link of this live stream, there is like 2 dashes there. If you click on it, you will see it's asking you for permissions, right? So you can click yes to allow. So I have something similar here. So I don't know if you can see the same thing on yours. Can you see that? Oh no. I think it's still. So he said, never mind, see you next week. And he said, no, he can't see it. This is really sad. Okay, Mr. James, thank you so much. I just really want to appreciate your your persistence to try to fix your audio. It's just really sad that we can't hear your contribution today. Really sad. I am not happy about it. I am beefing your I'm beefing your device right now. But thank you so much, sir, for still trying and trying and trying. Thank you so much. I hope that you can engage the conversation in the comment section, even though we can't hear you vocalize your contribution. But really, thank you so much, sir, for trying and trying and trying. I understand how annoying it can be, but I really appreciate you still trying. Thank you, sir. And I hope that it's sorted before next week because it's always a pleasure engaging you. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, this is just really sad. Mr. A, thank you so much for your assistance. I don't know. It's just really sad. But yeah, welcome. Welcome, Mr. A. Welcome to the
Yeah, thanks,
conversation.
Glory. Thanks.
Yeah.
The subject, the topic of today is do you feel like BAYO ONANUGA or the government, they are totally detached from Nigeria's reality? I don't think so. Let me also join in BAYO ONANUGA and Remi Tinubu in saying that Nigerians are not suffering. Nigerians are not suffering at all.
Why? Why, Mr. A?
Well, if Nigerians were really suffering, truly suffering, I'm sure, you'd probably be seeing something on the streets at the moment. The thing is, at the moment, the Nigerian government, they're testing the people. That's what they're actually doing at the moment. They're testing the will of the people, They're testing it. And if nothing actually happens, then, they'll keep on carrying on doing what they do, So that's why I actually believe that Nigerians are not suffering.
I actually see what you mean, Mr. A. In fact, I totally understand where you're coming from because sometimes it can be very frustrating with the amount of rubbish that these government spokespersons or whoever from the government that speaks for the government, the amount of rubbish they spew on the media, either on social media or when they go for interviews. They say a lot of rubbish. They gaslight Nigerians so much. And just as you rightly said, it's like they are trying to see if Nigerians will react. Oh, let's test how much they can take. Let's test how much bullshit they can take. And it's like the answer for them is constant. They know that Nigerians won't do anything. So they keep on trying. And if you notice, it's like every single day, the rubbish they spew, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It's like, oh, today, let's put it at 10%. Oh, they didn't react. Let's put it at. And when I say reaction, I'm not talking about social media reaction because, hey, we've said this before. With over 250 million people living in this country, Nigeria, how many people are actively using social media to speak about what's happening in the country. How many people? Because there are those who use social media, but they are not bothered about what's happening in the country. So now I'm speaking about those who use social media and are, focused on what's happening in the country. It's not a lot. It's not really a lot. So, as you rightly said, I just feel like they are just testing Nigerians to see how much bullshit they can dish out because they know that they will get away with it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the whole petrol situation at the moment, currently in Nigeria, I mean, when petrol went up, Dangote straight away increased the price of petrol, to 1,300 naira, and then the minutes now, petrol is actually not petrol, but crude oil. Crude oil is now come down, they are not making any adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the price of petrol is still 1,300 naira. And they don't see Nigeria complaining. Nigeria just bearing it. And, they're just going about their normal, daily lives. So, if something's like that and you're waiting for a Messiah to come out and, save everybody, I think each and everybody should save themselves first, because the thing is, whether you protest or you don't protest, we're probably all going to die, So when I mean we're going to die, is naturally we are actually going to die, So, do you want to be in a situation whereby you're constantly, well, I'll bear with it, to the next, whatever, if I'm selling something, I'll just keep on increasing my prices. It goes to the consumer, the consumers. How long are they going to tolerate it for? Because the thing is, everything now these days is just increasing. You go to the market, a bottle of, pure water, just keep on increasing, I mean, I used to remember when we used to buy, is it 50 naira for pure water and stuff like that, now,
Before I got to 15 naira, it was 5 naira, 10 naira.
Yeah, 5 naira, 10 naira, so yeah. And yeah, the thing is, I mean, people are just like, yeah, we just bear with it. We just, keep on growing, being grown to, just ride along. Yeah. I mean, in a way, I just feel like, people are tired, but you're tired and you're not doing anything about it. Some people, majority of the people are tired. The minority, even though they are tired, they're still having all this whole, tribal religion thing because at this point in time, I'm not even seeing any reason why anybody will come out and say actively they're supporting this government. In, reality, I wouldn't even, seriously, sometimes when I see people come out to actually campaign for this current government, I'm just like, I cringe because you're suffering. When you come out to campaign, it's not like they even pay you there and then. They promise you payment, and that promise of payment, you don't even get anything at all. I remember there was even before the Remi Tinubu, when she came out with the whole Akara Kuli Kuli thing. I think about 2 months ago, Remi Tinubu, she did an empowerment for the rich elites, ladies,
Mm-hmm.
where she, encouraged them that, so gather your communities, your support group. Each and every one of you women leader, you get, is it an SUV or something like that? So an SUV is great for the elites, even though they've already got that, but for the masses, we empower you with kuli kuli and akara, So, and there was a video I actually saw online whereby, some women, they went to that empowerment, and they, when they actually everything all finished, there was this popular, whatever guy, he said he saw them and he asked them a question. It's like, oh, why are you guys hanging around here? And they said, oh, there's no money, they promised us payments, but they didn't give us any money, so we are looking for money to go back to where we came from. How can you be this, I don't know, whether it's yeah, the whole poverty, they're trying to enslave people now, to, oh, what do they call it? I mean, there's this trending thing on the line now saying Loto mentality, So yeah, I mean, if people don't know any difference, they will just accept it as the norm. This is like the new norm for them, you know. It's the new norm, People are like, well, we don't know what it's like anywhere else. This is, But the thing is, let's be honest about it. This was never the case, even till about 5 or even 10 years ago. It was never this bad,
It's just really sad.
It was never this bad to the point of, people are literally begging on the streets.
But you see, Mr. A, you see, I feel like the amount of audacity that this government has today in how they blatantly go online and on air to say whatever they want to say, more like provoking Nigerians to see if Nigerians will react. I feel like that audacity is stemming from the Lekki Tollgate massacre. And by the way, remember that the government, not just this government, but also the previous government, they have been denying that there was any casualties during that Lekki Tollgate massacre. I don't know if you saw the news of a particular journalist whose body has just been confirmed 5 years later. After that, you see. But anyways, we knew that they were lying anyways. But what I'm saying is the amount of audacity that they have, it's coming from that whole situation. It's like they've given Nigerians a warning. That's like a warning shot. Like, hey, if you try yourself, if you think you can cause a revolution, this is what is going to happen to you. At the end of the day, you're all going to die. So just keep quiet and continue to take all the bullshit. So when they come out like that and they say the amount of rubbish they want to say, they provoke Nigerians. It's like they want to provoke you to the highest level just to see if you are going to do anything at all. That's what they are trying to do. Yes. They want to see how much more they can provoke Nigerians. And if Nigerians at all have learned any lessons from that Lekki Tollgate massacre. I feel like that's what they are doing. And the sad thing is, it's kind of working. It's working. Because even when people say that, okay, they want to come out to protest, they go out to protest. The police, the military, they use tear gas and sometimes live ammunitions, live rounds. They fire at protesters. Protesters, they disperse. And then they come back a second day. You notice that the numbers continues to thin out. And then there's no third day protest. There's no third day protest. And then everything goes back to how it used to be. People are still angry. People are festering with, rage. And people cannot come out to protest as they want. People are frustrated. So it's like there's anger in the land. People are angry. But because we cannot properly channel that anger and frustration, the government goes to the media and then they say, oh, yes, everybody is fine. Nothing is happening because they know what they are doing. They know that they have intimidated us so much that even though you are so frustrated, you're so angry, you dare not do anything about it. Just keep quiet, stay where you are, and don't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean that's the case at the moment. I mean, I think most of all these, even like the speech Remi Tinubu actually gave, with regards to the Akara empowerment and the Kulikuli empowerment. I just feel it's a distraction. It's a distraction from people to find another topic, trends, and people talk about that and move away from the real issues. What are the real issues? The real issues are 30 people in Oyo State, 30 people in Bono State are still women and children are still in captivity by these bandits or terrorists. Yeah. And are we talking about it anymore? No, that's the problem,
And over 1,500 terrorists have been reintegrated to society.
Exactly. So they know how to switch. I think they've kind of studied the way Nigerians are, with how Nigerian buttons are. At the end of the day, because let's be honest about it. Anything now, most of all the youths, let's be honest, who actually engage in Twitter or social media and stuff like that, in a way, that's their source of income, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, if anything's trending, get engagement, make some money off it, because
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, that's the only way they can actually truly survive,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is, are you actually really truly telling me that someone who actually go to first class or even a second class upper should actually start a business in Accra and Kulikuli? What's the point of actually going through all that process of going to school in the first place? You know, you shouldn't have just not even have bothered. So these people, they actually know what they're doing. I mean, don't let anybody deceive you. I mean, they know truly what they're actually doing,
Mm.
and that's why I keep on re-emphasizing on your platform that people, I think if we come out in mass on that day, there's going to be two things. It's either you counter votes or there should be a revolution. I think
Mm-hmm.
those are two days. Those are two things that people should be thinking about. Because the thing is, how long can one keep on continuing, in this environment? It's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy for you to think that, you know, there's so many beggars on the streets, everywhere you go. It's like, bro, I'm just trying to get to here. Can you just give me 500 naira? And well, yeah. I mean, I just feel like Nigerians, we all need to come out in mass on that election day. Seriously, on that election day, that's what we need to do. Come out in mass. And
Mm.
if they try to not make our votes count, yeah, then we should start something, because that is one day each and everybody's all out. Yeah, each and everybody's all out on that day. So there's no excuse. You can't say, "Oh, you're going to go back and do." Listen, eventually, the consumers will be tired. You start getting hungry. Rather than having 3 square meals a day, you have 1 square meal. Even the elites that are even smiling at the moment, they are doing their parties. Trust me, if this government actually gets in next year, those ones, they won't be smiling anymore. And you now see them coming out to actually complain. We've already started seeing some of them complaining on social media. You're living in the nice parts of Lagos. You're complaining that, oh, before I used to spend 4 million on rent, and now the landlord increased it to 8 million, and now it's 20 million. Well, that's what you get for not actually saying anything. If you keep quiet, you stay on the fence. If you keep quiet and you stay on the fence, of course, you're part
So,
of the people actually supporting the government. You know, so if you're coming out and say, "Well, I did not vote, but yeah, well, these governments, they are really, they're really struggling and they're really tightening our neck." If you didn't come out to actually say, "No, we don't want this comment," and you kept quiet, of course, don't complain when they are increasing your rent 20 million, or even 40 million. Stay
mm-hmm.
there, endure it. Otherwise, downsize. you know,
Yeah.
downsize. It's as simple as. But yeah,
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. A. Thank you so much. It's just really
no problem.
sad the way things are in the country today. I'm going to round up today's conversation by saying that one, this government has proven time and time again that instead of actually working to better the lives of Nigerians, they are rather investing more on propaganda. For the presidential spokesperson to go on an interview and to boldly declare that he does not see the hunger in the land, it's just shameful, very shameful. But then, am I surprised? Not really, because you will notice that everybody that speaks for this government, they lack shame. They lack shame. And they lack that shame because they are benefiting from this government. So they lack shame. They don't care about the backlash so long as they are feeding fat on this government and the resources of Nigeria. They lack shame. But I am calling out on all Nigerians to not buy into that propaganda. Everything is not all rosy in the country as they want you to think. Everything is not all rosy. I'm going to pause here because we have Oviman here. Mr. Oviman, you're welcome. Welcome to the conversation. I was about to round off now. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Hello, Glory.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much. You can hear me? Okay,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
can hear you. Welcome.
Greetings to everyone. And Mr. James, hope he comes back next time.
Yeah.
Hope he gets his issue fixed. And greetings to everybody, the people listening, the people that have spoken. And it's a privilege to be here, by the way, to be able to, to be able to speak, because a lot of people really wish that they could speak, But now, Glory, there's something you said when you were talking, which you said like maybe you feel like, why is it that these people feel so bold to come out and say some of these things? I would say, for me, you're right. It's probably because they've seen that they probably feel that what they did at the toll gate is like a warning or a lesson, and they feel like some people are abiding to that warning or that lesson. So probably it's kind of giving them that morale.
Yeah.
But another thing I'll add is it's also because of the divide and conquer politics that they're playing. The divide and conquer, or you can call it the tribal politics that they're doing. They understand that they can always use that card. And that has been their jackpot. That has been their jackpot in Africa. This not just Nigeria, the whole of Africa. It might be worse right now in places like Nigeria, but their jackpot is that they can always create a divide. And I'm telling you, whether we like it or not, or we want to admit it or not, you will find young people that will also buy into that. If you go online, forget about the people posting for engagement and trying to see if they'll make money on X. We're talking about, even if you go to TikTok, you go to IG, you go and you will see people fighting in the comment sections. You will see people defending their own criminal. Everybody is not now about who has the clean record. Is now,
Yes.
or who has the capacity. It's about, I prefer my thief than your angel, or I prefer that kind of a thing. And that is part of the things that is making some of these people to feel like they can always pull that card. They did that in 2022. Buhari did that during his time. They did that in 2022. So a lot of young people, I personally have had discussions with people that are from different parts of the country, especially during that 2022 time. I had discussions with different people, as some of my friends, because I spent many years in Lagos, not all my years, but I mean not like majority of my life, or majority to be honest, but I spent many years in Lagos, and I kind of know. I kind of I've interacted with different people. I have friends from different walks of life in Nigeria, different tribe communities. So I was engaging with some of these guys, and I'm telling you, everything was based for them was based on tribe and who is their person. Even though the education did not help, because these are university graduates. These are degree holders. The education did not help, Glory. I'm telling you.
That's right.
So it doesn't mean that all of them was like that. Yeah, it doesn't mean that all of them was like that, but that was what I faced. I was during the time of Jonathan, the same thing, because then they felt like their Jagaband was on the side of Buhari, so they were also like so much 100% Jonathan, and because of all the propaganda that they were pushing against Jonathan, so that is what these politicians, the corrupt ones, that's what they are counting on. They will always come and tell you it is we versus them. Even there's a video I saw, was it yesterday or today, of a mama, of a woman somewhere that's talking about how come they've broken up their, that they thought that during their own son, their own person, a fellow Yoruba person, that they wouldn't be crying because of, I think they are crying about some demolitions in Lagos. Maybe is it Makoko? I can't even remember. Yeah, so they're saying they thought that their own son, their own, you see that mentality, our own. That is where these people feel like they've struck gold, and that is what they're counting on. I'm telling you, see, you saw that people are also supporting what the first lady has said. People are also supporting. They are there saying, people, I first saw that news on Arise. And I saw when the lady Ojiope have read the comments, you can just see it's not about trying to make it a tribal thing, but you find out that even the people that are speaking for or supporting what the first lady said, they are from her own side. So that is the mentality. And when as the election becomes closer, comes closer and closer, you see that they will continue doing that. They will put out propaganda. They will put out influencers. They will bring out all. They've not fully brought out that tribal bigotry machinery. It's still, they are bringing it small. So, but as it comes closer, you will see it in its full force, and you will see people that they will start talking about is our son, is our own, is this one, is that propaganda. One thing that they have so much in this present government, like he has all those media guys, most of them, the propaganda people that have spent most of their career doing propaganda, they are now spokesmen and women. So they know how to do it very well. They are very good at it. But they can only convince the people now that don't know them, or people that are not well informed about what is going on. But for us that we have seen all these things play over and over again, I don't think any of us will be that naive, to fall into that trap. So, and there was a thing you also said about, there's something you usually say, like something about the politicians in Africa. They feel like they have, or is it in Nigeria that they are really having a great time because of how much Nigerians are docile and they don't want to, they don't want to get so much involved on their case. Well, it's like in the North. I was listening to someone talking about the North. You see, it's worse there. Those politicians, they are corrupt politicians there. They are like it's almost like they are in paradise. Because anything that you say, they will bring out, they will tell you to read Quran or read somewhere.
Yes.
And before you know, they will start. So those guys, I'm telling you that sometimes I think about it as someone that is also familiar with that space a bit. I think about it and I start wondering that, are you sure there will be any kind of change ever in a society like this? Are you sure there will be any kind of uprising in a society like this? There will always be some people, because even if you go online, you will see some people from the North, talking about the ills that is happening, the corruption among their people. But those people are less than 1%, if we are being honest. They are less than 1%. They are exposed, or they are outside the country or somewhere. So they are able to see how things work in the real world. Their mind is not clouded by this religious manipulation. But I'm telling you, for the majority on ground, they will, it is just a matter of saying infidel and their own person.
Mm.
And you see all of them. What happened to Deborah at Sokoto? Did you see them on the street demanding justice? Well, why am I even talking about them on the streets when I didn't see people from the south demanding justice?
They
Or
were even
Christians?
bragging.
Yeah. Christians did not come out in majority. If Christians had come out in majority, it's not a religious thing now, but at least sometimes you can make a logical argument around that. If Christians or people of goodwill, humanists, people that believe in humanity, if all of them had come out in one voice and protest and demand justice and say never. In fact, they shouldn't even stop at just Deborah. They will demand that that kind of Sharia law be totally abolished in a society. If you claim that Nigeria is a secular state, because that's what they say, how can something like that be happening in a secular state? You can't eat your cake and have it.
Exactly.
You can't say we are a secular state, then you go to your place and you say you want Sharia. Then you still want the benefits of a secular state. Then why? So people that have spent so much, when some Igbo people mention Biafra or their identity, you see the way a lot of people antenna rises, and you see the way they start, fuming from every corner of their body. Those people cannot use their simple, their heads to just think that, okay, these other guys that are even saying these things, at least even if you're a pagan, you can live among them. The people that that claim that they are doing one Nigeria, they are there practicing laws, their own laws, taking, it's almost like what do they call it? It's almost like a banana republic, because you can't just be doing your own thing in a state, in a secular country. But that is what is going on. Those people have, in fact, if you're talking about people that are enemies of Nigeria or enemies of one Nigeria, those are the people that are able to implement laws, their own different laws in their region. The people that everything, you have a different law from the national law. So let's not be deceiving ourselves. And that's why before I used to be like, Igbo people, you people just forget, even though me myself I'm partly Igbo, I'll be like, you people should just forget this, but I used to look at it as, okay, then later I came to understand that it's not just because of they don't like Nigeria. In fact, they love Nigeria so much, because you can't say people that don't like Nigeria, the ones going going to every corner of Nigeria to go and settle down or do business or live among people. That's not the character of people that don't like a place. If you don't like a place, why would you want to be there? Those people, they've integrated in every part of the country. So it's now more of, I started seeing it as, okay, these people, they are playing with both sides. They claim that they want Nigeria one, but they just want the benefit of being in one Nigeria. And at the same time, they want their own enclave where they can do whatever they want, however they want it. And how would they even want their people to be educated or do anything that will help them? And when they're talking about people doing mass weddings, and I like the example you're using when you were talking about the Chinese, the Japanese, how they are educating their people and all of that. Some people want to argue and say, hey, marriage is good, marriage is good. Even in China, Japan, they encourage marriage a lot. That's why in China, they have this thing of, is it leftover women or what do they call it? So it's kind of, which is not good, but it's kind of a way of trying to shame women not to delay not to stay too long without marriage.
But sir, you know that why theirs is even different is because right from when a child is born in those countries, the child is already going through a learning process. So before a child in China gets to the age of 20, that child, you can compare that child to a PhD holder in Nigeria. No offense intended to anybody, because they've taught them so much, they've exposed them to so much. Now, even though it seems like they shut them out of the internet that the world is using, they still know so much. They even teach them how to create their own internet world, if you know what I mean, their own social media, their own everything, right? So what they do is, even if they encourage people to get married, but they don't do it with a child that is empty upstairs. No, they don't do it with a child that is unripe and unfit for marriage. So there's a difference. And that is why I get very frustrated when in Nigeria, they keep on saying, oh, there's always a lot of comparisons like, oh, okay, for instance, now, Wiki spokesperson, Larry or Olayinka, that says, oh, in Paris, they still sell corn on the street. So I'm like, really? You people are very quick to make comparisons, but have you seen the standard of living of the people in these places that you make these comparisons with? You see, that's where my frustration comes from most of the time.
Hello, Glory. Yeah, you see, you're 100% correct. In fact, what I was actually trying to say is that, they like doing this out of context comparisons, of course. Like, they will take something that is totally different and say, can't you see those people? Meanwhile, the environment, the standard of life, everything is totally different. And even these guys that are doing the leftover, all these societies that are encouraging marriage, early marriage, they are not using one to substitute the other.
Exactly.
But you see what these corrupt politicians in Nigeria are doing, and in this case, like the ones from the north, is they are trying to hide all their failures, they are trying to hide their wickedness, everything, and now make it something that, okay, instead of you complaining that we are not doing well, or we are totally useless, then why don't you just get married? And they've not even asked, they don't even know the situation of the place those women are going to. So, but you see, like these other societies, they do everything together. The education, the exposure, the opportunities. Women are in, powerful positions. Women are doing everything. It still does not stop them from getting married, even if they want to get married at 22, 23, 4, whatever. It doesn't stop them. But they are also economically kind of empowered, So, but what they are doing in Africa is to try and hide all their failures and make it look like, okay, we'll just go and get married. You understand? So that is the game they are playing. So we can't even compare both societies at all, And the thing of also telling people about Akara and all this, thing. The people that are saying that people raised their kids to the university and all of that through Akara business and Kuli Kuli. I can't even remember Kuli. I can't even remember the last time I saw Kuli Kuli. I can't remember, but I know Kuli Kuli a lot. The one I liked when I was much younger was Donkwa, the one from the north.
Yeah.
I think, I used to like Donkwa a lot. But all this other, But you see, obviously they know times have changed. They know that even the people that we are doing it in large scale, that's 1%. It's just like using the success of 10% to now kind of you want to use that as an example for the whole country. That you see those people, they send their kids to school. Do you know how much they struggled to even be able to send their kids to school? And who told them that it was only Akara that their mothers were selling that sent their kids to school? It's probably, it was also like a support, but that was not the main thing. And also, after sending the kids to school, like you said, Gloria, I think you also mentioned it when you were, I've been listening behind the scene, but I was just looking for, because I have so much I'm doing. I didn't know I was even going to come on, but I said I have to come on because I wasn't here like last week. So, do you know how those kids are even surviving, like in the school? Because the only thing they are thinking of is they send their kids to school. Most of them, those kids went to public schools. There's nothing wrong with public schools, but you understand what I mean, because some parents will want to send their kids, some will want to send their kids to private school, maybe. But they send their kids to public school, which is good. And at the same time, some of those kids, you don't know what they went through in their, in every other areas of their life. And it's not only their parents' endeavors that kept some of them in school. Some of them had to devise other means to survive.
Sir, do you know that there's also a health hazard to those trades?
Yeah, there's also a health hazard, of course. Like, I remember those days in Lagos, I saw I know of a sibling that also their mother was selling something, and that's how she was able to take care of them and send them to school. She was a businesswoman, but they had a lot of support from even their church and also their their extended families, something like that. And even with all of that support, I can say it because nobody knows them, but the lifestyle that I saw them living, I wouldn't say it is the best. So I'm not saying that's the situation for all the children from that kind of a situation, but that's just to show that you cannot just be giving example of things you don't really understand.
Exactly.
Things you don't really know what the circumstances surrounding it. And talking about empowering women or people to go and do those businesses, is it just to give them is it how much, or is it to give them the material or give them some money to go and buy the things that they need? Have you talked about the location, the place, because they have to pay for where they are going to be, and there's nothing more like that disturbs someone that is starting business, a young entrepreneur, more than like paying rent or paying for where they are going to do their business. It doesn't matter if it's a shop, you have to pay for whatever space. So you as a first lady, have you provided like a space for them to do it, like a market? And even if you're doing it, even if you're creating a market, how many people that wants to eat akara will go and start looking for where they have, the way they like building some markets very far away from where human beings are. Maybe they'll enter one bush and clear the place and say this is a market provided, where that no customers are coming. That's why some places they've tried to build markets. People are not going there to sell anything because they know that people are not coming inside there.
Exactly.
So even if you do that, but in this case, you have not even provided that, and you're talking about people going to do those kind of businesses. How many akara will they have to sell in a day to be able to even eat 3 square meal? Forget about paying their rent and taking their children to school and all of that. How many akara will they eat when there are so many other ways you can empower women? There are so many other ways you can empower women. So it's just if you're talking about large scale, people doing it in a large scale, are you going to give them money to do it in a large scale? So you're still expecting them to start from the ground, from the bottom, and even in that bottom, you have not provided the full, you're not able to provide how they are able to start it sufficiently. So it's very unfortunate, Glory, but that's what we are seeing in Nigeria.
Yes, sir. And I love this comment that Medina Abubakar wrote here. If we all start selling akara, who will be the buyers? It's like going to a community and you say you want to empower all the women and you give them money and say start selling akara and corn. And let's say in that community, you have 100 women and you give each of them your so-called empowerment grant. So everybody is now selling akara, everybody is now selling corn. Who is going to buy from who?
Everybody will sell akara. So who is going to buy from the other person? And because there's no way I want to eat, I'm selling akara. I want to eat akara. Then I'll start going looking for somebody else to buy akara from. It's not like it's just like at least people on X are even. It's even better you teach people AI. Maybe start some AI, social media, digital market. Because you see, like in X, at least Elon Musk have made it that, okay, people can get engagements and they're paid, or people can get all of this and they're paid. It doesn't matter. That's an economy that everybody can be an entrepreneur and also a consumer. You understand? So maybe they should be looking at things like that if they want to, there are so many ways they can really support people. And a lot of people are not asking for so much. A lot of people are actually looking for like home. Maybe they need this assisted living program. Maybe like all this. It's called what? Is it housing programs?
Yeah.
Because that is something that is really, look at the way they are exploiting people in Lagos in terms of rent
It's a,
and
it's a huge problem.
yeah, like people you're paying for 2 years, 1 year, how many years? Somebody that
Millions.
how are you able to survive? If you go to countries, so many countries they pay monthly or 2 months, at most 3 months. If you go to Southern Africa, the same thing. If you go to East Africa, Kenya, all those places, the same thing. Even Cote d'Ivoire, that is not very far, is the same thing. You pay rent monthly, and there's like everybody, their head is not you. People pay rent. You can't just increase rent out of the blues. You cannot just make your rent unreasonable.
Sir, even do you know that some landlords are even trying to practice this monthly one? But here's what they are doing. What they used to charge as house rent for 1 year, they are now charging it for a month. That's what they are doing now. So it's like you are between the devil and the deep blue sea. Like there's no way out of it. And it's like the government wants it that way because there's this ridiculous delusional dream of turning Lagos into Dubai overnight. So it's like the fastest way to make that happen is to make housing a huge problem. So it's like trying to filter the middle class and the lower class out of Lagos and then leave Lagos to be inhabited by only the rich and foreigners who do not necessarily understand the Nigerian currency in terms of bargaining for rent and buying houses. So whatever you tell them is what they pay. And that is why a lot of real estate companies now are advertising houses in dollars, which is illegal. But still, the government is not doing anything about it. You will see a house or an apartment that you are interested in, and you will see that if they want to put the price of it, you are seeing $1 million. Like now, the way they put the cost of houses is like it's Nigerian currency, $1 million. The other one I saw one time, 1.5 billion naira, and then say in dollars it's going to cost you 100. Like it's insane. That is the new system now. So people are moving. People are moving out of Lagos. People are moving. People have moved all the way from, let's say on the island, people have moved all the way to inside Ekpe. On the mainland, people are moving to Ibadan and other neighboring states because people used to think that housing on the mainland is way cheaper. But guess what? You are literally paying the same thing that you pay on the island for an apartment in Ikeja or Surulere, which was never the case before. And it is now being normalized. The government claims that, they're trying to make some laws, but there's no implementation whatsoever.
Yeah, like I think this thing of people moving, it's going to get worse. And this thing that they are doing now, is it like specific places like maybe the island, or they're also doing it in the mainland?
Both. The whole of Lagos, island, mainland, is the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So even people living in, I know Lagos, as much as it's been so many, years, but those places like Agbara, where is it, Ikpaja, all those places. So I think those places now, by now also, it will be very expensive to live in places like that. Yeah, and even people going all as far as maybe people will start going to Badagry and going to is it Agbara, all those sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you see, the failure is no matter what they do, no matter how they try to package it, you understand, their failures will still be very visible. And what you're saying is very true, because I saw one of these guys that does this content of real estate content, showing different. I think is Stephen Duku. So I saw like he was doing this stuff. I think it's Eco Atlantic, and even the woman that is in charge of the tower where people are. Like if you see what she's saying, I'm just
I
wondering
saw
which
that
word
video.
that these people, and she's saying it so proudly, Yeah, she's saying it so like, yes, of course we don't. There was a part the guy said something about so you have to be your neighbors must be millionaires. She said no, billionaires. I'm like, wow, wow. So
Yeah.
this is a project for not even millionaires now, but a project for billionaires, and that is what So even the foreign investment and all those people are not trying to waste their money. You have not fixed your insecurity issues, and you want people to come and invest in the country when they are seeing all manner of news about terrorists moving freely. There's that image of is it a video of some allegedly some policemen saluting bandits,
Mm-hmm.
you know, saluting bandits, and one of them came out and said it's AI.
Mm.
And I like what Rufai, Rufai has been on fire lately. I think he has always been like that, but I think he has
Mm-hmm.
increased the way he's tackling those issues. And that's how it should be. I wish we have more journalists like that in Nigeria, you know. So how are you even going to attract all those investment you're looking for, or trying to make it somewhere for foreign investors to come and stay, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so without fixing the major problems like insecurity? Nobody wants to go there. It's like building, like if look at Dubai with all the, you know, safety that they've had all this time. Just look at what happened, what is happening in Iran has made almost more than 60% of their investors have all run away. Some of them are still hanging around a little bit, hoping for things will be maybe better, then they will continue. But even those people, some of them are not going to, I've said they are not coming back, because it means in the future anything can happen, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that's what they should be looking at first, fixing the insecurity in the country
Mm-hmm.
before looking for how to, invite people and push people away. And look at how that Atlantic whatever looked like a ghost town. Where's what are they doing there? To be honest, Glory, you're in Lagos, maybe you know.
If
Like,
you want me to be honest with you, I would tell you for free that it is not bustling at all.
mm,
It's not bustling. Last I checked, because sometimes I take a drive there, you know, last I checked, people buy units of
mm,
apartment and they want to use it for shortlets,
mm,
and the what they charge is just ridiculous. What they charge for a night, some of them it's what you literally pay for a rent for 1 year. So they just charge ridiculous amounts. Yeah. So the question is, how many people can afford to pay such amounts as daily rates for a short stay? How many people? It's
Glory,
not
in
like it's
fact,
an hotel.
the rate I had those people calling there is not even for the rich. It's not for
I'm,
the rich.
I'm
It is for
telling you,
the armed robber. In fact,
it's for
those mega robbers, not just
you have
normal
to
armed
be into
robbers.
money laundering. You have to be either a Yahoo person or you are into money laundering to be able to afford those rates. I'm telling you for free. To imagine
Yahoo
how many
Yahoo
nights can you stay there?
Yahoo cannot afford that. So I think maybe the hush puppy level, but you see, like they can't. There's I don't even know, because when I'm hearing the figures that they are calling, talking about the rich, it's not the rich. Maybe they should be saying the ultra, or the it should be like the top 1%, because
Hmm.
Nigeria has a lot of rich people. Nigeria has a lot of rich people. That's not a secret. Even though that the gap is widening. I don't know if
Mhm.
if there's middle class anymore,
There's no
because it
middle
seems now,
class.
yes, because it seems like now it's just poor people and very rich people. Because even the people that was a little bit rich, they have, unless they joined some kind of illegal thing, or maybe some kind of a miracle happened, they've all come down to the poor people. Because some of the people I'm seeing, even coming to these sides where we are, I look at their background, I hear them saying some of these things, and I used to say to myself, these are people that while I was still growing up, these are people that we consider as rich people. So, but when you hear them talking about struggle and all that, I say, because in those days, if your father have a house, we just see you're a rich man
Of
pikin.
course.
Maybe you have one car, maybe a house on one car. You're a rich man. But nowadays, I'm hearing these people. They're talking about the father's house in this place and the other house, and yet it's sounding so poor, like he doesn't know what he will do with his life. So I'm saying, so it means that those people that we think that level that we saw as rich in those days is now, that it cannot help even anybody right now. So it's more like they are just people surviving. So imagine the people that we saw, or that level that we saw as poor people level. I wonder how they are surviving right now.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're even I wonder, maybe that's why you see most of them, asking for arms online. That's why I didn't, to be honest, the thing of people condemning all those people, telling that, when those bandits came online and was doing their fake giveaway, it will definitely work in a place like Nigeria, because a lot of people are suffering. Then if you go online, you see some of the people suffering that are really, they are begging any
You
small
can't
thing.
even blame all of them entirely, sir.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can
Mm.
just imagine the people that we saw those days as, okay, they are the poorer people of the society in this kind of economy and in this APC era. I'm just imagining how these people are surviving. The last time Nigeria breathed well, it seems it was during the Jonathan's time. Ever since Buhari's time till now, in a lot of ways, it has been downhill.
Yeah.
Things are getting worse. Nigerians are really suffering. And Nigerians are very. It doesn't mean that Nigerians don't have rich people. Of course, we are seeing all the people online claiming to be rich, both the ones that are claiming and the ones that are using it as their contents, rich contents. Meanwhile, on ground, things are different. And we are also seeing the people that really do have money, because Nigerians are survivors, Nigerians will always look for a way to survive, especially when they leave Nigeria. And that's why, as much as people want to say, where are they going to? Well, some of the people I've seen outside, if I'm to put it in a percentage, maybe I would say 60%, they end up actually changing their story and becoming a bit more successful than they started. But it's not all the case. So there's a lot of them that end up in very bad conditions, even in worse conditions. Some of them are even looking for how to go back to Nigeria. But there are also people that are surviving. So, and you can't also say that no Nigerian youths, as much as I'm telling them to speak out, come out. But at the same time, they can't also, nobody wants to throw their life away.
Yeah, true.
Nobody really wants to do that. And they understand that when they do, you saw how they used a lot of propaganda. At some point, they even used tribe. You remember when they accused Nnamdi Kanu of being the one pushing NSAS protests with Showore and all of that. So nobody would really want to. I don't blame some of the Nigerian youth that are mostly vocal online and on ground, because they don't want to lose their lives. But if
True.
only they understand that these people cannot really kill everybody, you know. But what they do,
Yeah.
you know what they do mostly is shoot one person and wait for 100 people to run. Or
Yeah.
should that's how so nobody wants to be that scapegoat or that sacrifice, because that's what they do. And they didn't that they are not the ones who started it. That's how it has that's the game. That's how they've been doing it in every other parts of the world. You can't just come and shoot people. But there are some societies that people, when they say they are tired, they are tired. Unfortunately, I've not seen some of those societies in Africa, but there are some societies that when the people come out, you can't shoot one person, or maybe you shoot 1,000. And even if you get to the point of shooting 1,000, then your government is already over. You know, you saw what the Nepal people did. And but you see, the Nepal people like using Nepal as an example. But Nepal, it is people that that was conscious of what they want to achieve. You know, you saw them even helping the sick wife of some of those government officials. The sick wife, one of the, they helped her because she couldn't walk. They had to come and. So those are people that had focus, but unfortunately, because of the poverty and a lot of things, drugs, all manner of things that have affected some of our youths, they might go there and start looting people. I won't say it's all of them. You will see some people that will go and start doing other things. So how are they even going to be able to maintain that position to carry out the so-called people are talking about? So we have to be counting. We encourage the one. We have to encourage the one that we can handle. Talk about people getting PVCs, coming out in large numbers to vote. And this thing of a revolution for now, let us do revolution by the ballot. Let's do revolution by speaking out, and revolution by showing up in mass to vote for the person that we want. Maybe people are going to the polling station or wherever. People should be shouting the name of the person that they want. This is the person, so that even where they are, if you want to count people, count, so that they will not tell you that a place where it's only 5,000 people that went there to vote, they should not tell you that they counted 10,000 for another person. So those are some of the things that we can do to support the change.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. I really hope that we do better, honestly, because this government is putting in a lot in propaganda, and it's more painful that they are not only spewing their lies and their delusion back home, they are also going abroad to do it. I was watching a video the other day of Reno Mokri, spewing his own lies to the international community, and it was just so shameful to watch. So whilst they are doing theirs, we should all also speak up and also prepare for 2027, where we make our own voices heard via our votes, because this madness cannot continue. It cannot continue. We need to rescue ourselves, because nobody is coming to do it for us. So thank you so much, Mr. Ovier. I really appreciate you making our time from your busy schedules to come and share with us. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. I do not want to keep you guys longer than we have been here already, but really thank you all so much for joining the conversation. First off, AB, thank you so much for your gift. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you for always having this community in mind, and also always having it in mind to gift me on this channel. Thank you so much, AB. God bless you. I appreciate your kindness. Thank you so much. And to David, thank you so much for giving so much time to today's conversation. I know how busy you can be, but you still made our time to come on here twice. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. A. I really appreciate you also taking our time to join the conversation, and for also rendering your assistance to Mr. James, who could not join the conversation. And speaking of Mr. James, it was just really sad how his device could not allow him to join the conversation. Mr. James, I look forward to engaging you next week, Saturday, because it's always a pleasure having conversations with you. Thank you so much. And yes, Mr. Oviman, once again, thank you so much for making our time to join the conversation. Madam, I see you in the comment section, engaging the conversation. Medina Abubakar, thank you so much. There was also Fidel. I think Fidel, thank you so much, Fidel. Atilade Taiwo, oh my God, it's been a while. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. I saw Zamio. Zamio, thank you so much. I saw Erica. Erica, thank you so much for engaging in the conversation. AV Faith Opu, thank you so much for joining the conversation. Tamara, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I appreciate your time here. Thank you so much. I never take it for granted when you guys join our conversations like this. These conversations are really important because Nigeria needs all of our attention. So the fact that you people join here to engage conversations like this, it means the world to me. Thank you all so much. I'm seeing if there's any other person that I missed. Okay, it was actually Fidel, not Fidelis. Yes. So if there's anybody else that I missed, I did not deliberately forget your name, but yes, this is my gratitude extended to every single person that joined today's conversation. Thank you all so much. Please, let's not stop talking about everything happening in Nigeria. Our voices need to be heard. And one thing I believe in also is that as we continue with conversations like this, the international community is also listening. Yeah, very important. The international community needs to hear what is happening in Nigeria. This government, even the previous government, they invest so much in propaganda. Having conversations like this helps to rewrite those propaganda that they are pushing out there. So let's not stop. Let's continue speaking. All right. And finally, to all the silent listeners, you guys are simply amazing. You are incredible. You add to the numbers. And so I do not take your presence here for granted. Thank you so much for always being a part of the conversation. And this is where I draw the curtains. Thank you all so much. I'll see you all on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a fantastic weekend. Bye.